If you are tired of dry, boring, flavorless chicken, this is the video for you. In this video, I want to show you how I cook lemon, garlic, pan-seared, and then roasted chicken. It shreds like butter, and no, you don't need a slow cooker. I'm going to show you how I make the lemon garlic chicken in bulk for dinner and then meal prep for the next couple days. It's super flavorful, versatile, and packed with protein. You can use it in a bowl, in a wrap, on a salad, whatever you want. For the full ingredient list, check the description box below, but enough talking, let's get cooking. Let's take a look at the chicken that we're gonna use for this recipe. Here we're gonna go with some regular supermarket chicken breast, nothing fancy. You can see that this chicken breast is rather untrimmed. You know, maybe if I was gonna use the chicken whole at the end and I wanted it to be pretty, I would trim up the loose hanging pieces or maybe get rid of some of this fat, but I'm just gonna keep it all in there. We're just gonna sear it, we're gonna shred it. You're never gonna know that pieces were hanging off or little skin or little fat was there. And I wanna start out with about as much chicken breast as I can fit into the pan. If I added another one and I added a sixth one, it would be too much and the pan would be a little overcrowded. So now let's take our chicken and we're gonna put it inside a bowl to season it. For after a meal prep chicken, the seasonings gotta be simple, no overcomplicated steps. So we're gonna start off with a little olive oil that we're just gonna drizzle on top. This is gonna act as a binder for the spices that we're gonna put on so they can cling to the outside. And it's also gonna help make sure that it gives it a nice even browning all around, even though we're gonna put some oil in the pan. Now, first up is gonna be some of my base seasoning. This is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. I'll throw a link to the recipe in the description below so you can find all of the ingredients. And you can see I'm running low on this because I use this stuff so much. Next up, we're gonna put some dried Italian seasoning. So this dried Italian seasoning is a mixture of herbs. You can use fresh herbs too, but the dried stuff's always ready to go. And last but not least, we're gonna put in some smoked paprika. The smoked paprika is gonna bring a nice red color. It's also gonna add a smoky flavor, which is another layer of flavor on this really simple but layered flavored dish. Even though I already put a little oil, what I like to do is just drizzle on a little oil on the top just to help loosen up some of those dried spices. So now I'm gonna give this a mix. And I'm just mixing until everything gets well coated. I'm making sure that both sides of the chicken have the spices on them because we're gonna sear both sides and we wanna make sure that we're getting flavor. Because even though this is not a finished dish, we do want the chicken to get seared on the outside because that's gonna add a lot of flavor that wasn't there. And the more surface area that I can get that flavor on, the better. So I'm gonna let this chicken chill out for about 10 or 15 minutes at room temperature. It's gonna help the temperature come up so it cooks more evenly. It's also gonna give an opportunity for the spices to release their flavors to the outside of the chicken before we put a sear on it. We only need to prep a couple of things for this recipe, which makes it a really good meal prep recipe because I can just do it really fast and not have to do a whole lot of knife work. But we are gonna peel some garlic. I do not like to start off with pre-peeled garlic. I think it gets slimy, so I'm always buying garlic whole. And I don't know how many times I can show how to peel garlic, but I'm gonna show it again. So with garlic, I try not to disturb the rest of it. I try to keep it as much whole as possible. And what I'll do is I'll just pull out cloves of the garlic. For this recipe, we'll do about 1 clove of garlic for every piece of chicken. So we got 5 pieces, so let's go at least 5 cloves. These are nice and big, so I think it's 1-to-1 ratio is probably pretty good. Let me see, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's go extra. We're gonna go 6. And now the rest of the garlic I will leave whole like this as much as possible. I feel like it lasts a bit longer if you just don't disturb it. So to remove the skin off this garlic, what I'm gonna do is I'll put it in between my hands until I get like just that little pop. And now from here, I'll just rub it. I'll rub it pretty aggressively until the skin peels right off. And this is probably the easiest way to clean garlic. I'm not a fan of smashing it because then this stuff gets all inside the garlic and that's not good. Sometimes you don't even have to do the pop part. You can just give it the quick rub and it'll come right off. So our chicken is seasoned, our garlic is ready. Let's head over to the stove and let's get a sear on this chicken. So I'm gonna cook this in a large cast iron skillet. This is about a 12 or 13 inch skillet. I like cast iron because it's gonna give me a nice sear on the outside, and it's very easily goes from the stovetop into the oven. I just love cast iron to cook with. It's probably my favorite pan in the kitchen. I've also got my oven preheated to 375 degrees. That's a really good temperature where it's not too fast and the chicken's gonna dry out in some places and then be cooked in others, but I think it's a really nice temperature to cook full-sized chicken breast. So now that my pan is preheated, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to the pan. I'm trying to make sure that I maximize the area, so I'm gonna use every last square inch. So we're gonna go all the way to the edges on this one. Usually what I do is 4 on the outside and 1 right in the middle, and it usually fits. And this pan might look a little overcrowded right now, but once this chicken starts to cook and it'll shrink back a little bit, it'll be the perfect amount of space where it's maximized but not overcrowded. I'm gonna let this sear for about 2 to 3 minutes per side, but I really wanna make sure that it has a nice golden brown color when I flip it. Not burnt, but also not too pale. We wanna make sure that we're maximizing that flavor. When you're browning proteins inside a pan, you wanna use a lot of restraint and not move them around, because once they're in there, you only really wanna move it around is if you're checking to see what the level of doneness is. But moving stuff around in a pan when it doesn't need to, doesn't do anything, and in fact, it like detracts away from the browning process. So right now, just kind of leave it. So if we take a look at one of these pieces, I got this nice brown color. I probably want to take that just a little bit further, so I'm just going to put this right back, but that's not going to need much more time. So you can see this nice, beautiful brown color on there. That is the color we're looking for, and that's the color of nicely brown chicken. This Maillard reaction is going to give us flavor that just wasn't there before. So again, another really nice color on here. Nice brown tannish color. Let's see how this one looks. This one I probably can go a little bit more. So this looks a little bit pale for me. So what I like to do is take that and I'll press that right up against the side of the pan. So now you can see that we got this nice brownish, orangish kind of hue on the top of the chicken. That took about 3 minutes on each side at this medium-high heat. This is exactly what you're looking for. And this color is gonna be the difference between chicken that's bland and chicken that tastes spectacular. You can see that the chicken was a little overcrowded, but now that it's cooking, I got these nice spaces in between the chicken, and it's not overcrowded. They're just barely touching each other now. So now this will be the perfect time to add our garlic. And where I like to add the garlic is right into the little nooks in between the chicken. And no place is the wrong place, but I'll just take them, shove them in there. I'm gonna let them sear for 30 seconds until I can really smell the flavor coming off of the garlic. So now we're gonna add 2 last things before this goes in the oven. I'm gonna take some of this white wine vinegar, and we're gonna give this a little splash on top. So 2 acids, 1 the vinegar, and secondly the lemon. What I like to do is squeeze the lemon all over the top. If I see any seeds come out, I'll just pull those off. And now I like to take the lemon pieces and put them right inside, just 1 on one side and 1 on the other. And now this is gonna go into the oven just like this. I almost forgot one thing. We're gonna splash on just a little bit of chicken broth. This sometimes I leave out, but I do find that I get a better sauce when I splash on just a little bit of chicken broth. It adds a little bit of moisture, makes it a bit saucier. So just like you do with the vinegar, just a little bit right on top, just a tablespoon or 2. So now let's take this and we'll put this inside our oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until the chicken hits an internal temp of about 160. A large majority of the time you can make dishes look pretty and appealing just by sprinkling some green stuff on it. So let's chop up some of this parsley for garnish. The easiest way to pull the leaves off of parsley is the 3 fingers. So you take 3 fingers, your index finger, your middle finger, and your thumb, and you put it right on the stem and you just pull. And the parsley will pull off right at the exact spot where the stem meets the leaves. 1, 2, 3, pull. And this is how you clean parsley. I've seen those videos where they take the cheese shredder and they use that to clean parsley. That sounds like that would take forever and you have something to clean. Here, I can pull it off super fast. And I have nothing to clean after. And also when I'm chopping up parsley, I'm always chopping up a bit more than I need because I like to just store it inside the fridge and use it for the next day or two on other things. Or sometimes I'm even replating leftovers and I'll just sprinkle on a little parsley and it just adds like such a nice colorful pop. And see, and within seconds, stems, leaves, completely separated, nothing to clean. So now to chop this parsley into a garnish, knife on the cutting board, hand on top with this nice pinch grip. So you see I got fingers on one side, thumb on the other. I got my thumb and my index finger on the knife, and I like to put my middle finger right up against the butt of the knife. Here I have nice control. I get the hand out of the way by opening up my fingers, nice even pressure on top, and now I'll work my way across the parsley in a couple directions. Once it spreads out enough, I'll push it all back together. I'll give my knife a wipe and I'll just keep doing that over and over again until I get the desired consistency. After just a couple of passes, you'll see you'll have some big pieces and some small pieces. Now, as you're working through, try to aim for the larger pieces to break them down. And you can see as the pile spreads out, I push it back together, I clean my knife off, and I keep working through. Most of the time when I see garnishes and the leaves are too big, people just gave up too early. Just keep working it. Just do another 2-3 passes, and it'll be nice and fine. And look at that, nice, freshly chopped parsley, ready to go for a garnish. So if we take a look at the temperature on this chicken, we should just be right under that 165 mark. And this is perfect because I'm gonna let this chicken sit here. It's gonna come up maybe a couple degrees. Usually when I sit stuff, especially something of this size in a cast iron pan, it'll come up maybe like 3 to 6 to 7 degrees more, but it's also gonna allow time for the chicken to cool down before we shred it. So I'm just gonna let it sit there for about 10 or 15 minutes and then we're gonna shred it. So after this is cool, we can see that the chicken has reabsorbed a lot of the juices. If I give this a little smush, you can see the nice juices that are inside there. Look at how juicy that chicken looks. Remember, if your chicken is dry, it is because you overcooked it. Look at that, how juicy that chicken is. So now let's shred this. Some of this chicken's still gonna be a little hot, so what I like to do is put on some rubber gloves, and that's just gonna help protect my hands the tiniest little bit. It's cooled down a lot, but some of these pieces, especially on the thicker end, still might have a bit of steam trapped in. First, let's take the chicken and let's put it inside of our glass bowl. You can even see as I'm moving it around, it's already starting to steam. But what I like to do here is first just give it like a rough breakup, where I'll just break it into like large chunks. And while I'm doing that with the rest of them, the other ones are cooling off. If at any point it's still a little too hot, just let it chill out a little bit more. My hands have been tempered a little bit, so I can deal with a little higher heat than some people. And before we shred it, let's take a look at like some of this chicken. Look how the chicken just like doesn't look dry. It's got that nice sheen on the inside. It's not dry, it's shiny. And if we give it a squeeze, it's nice and moist looking. Look at that juice come out of there. See how nice and juicy that looks? This chicken's still a little hot for me to get all the way in there, so I'm just gonna spread it around the bowl a little bit and just let it continue to chill out a little bit, just enough till the steam starts coming off of it, and then it'll probably be cool enough that I can get back in there. So while this is cooling off a little bit, let's not forget about these wonderful garlic cloves. They may not make it to the final dish, but I love garlic, so when we're doing our taste test, I will definitely be accompanying the chicken with a couple of these. So when I'm shredding chicken, I try not to pulverize it too much. I don't like my chicken like super duper shredded. I want it to be like kind of shredded, some big chunks, some little frays, but that's where I think chicken, especially like when you're doing it this way, kind of is best. It's like a little rustic where, again, some big chunks, nothing overly big, but at the same time, nothing too small and not like shredded like it's shredded into like chicken fur. So you can see that now it's cool enough. All I'm doing is just taking the chicken and just smushing it in between my hands as I pull it apart. And that's kind of like why they call it pulled chicken. You could do this with a fork. I think that like takes forever. You can just easily, just once it's cool enough, just give it a smash just like this and it breaks up into the perfect consistency. And I'll just keep doing this until it's all about the same consistency. And even though I used to use the paddle mixer and I showed that in some videos, you know, I moved away from that because I just think it's just a better process when you do it this way. And it definitely is faster to do it that way, but I don't think faster is always better. I think we place too much emphasis on doing things fast in the kitchen. And I get it that we're all short on time, but some things you don't want to skip over, and you know, it's not really faster if you have to wash stuff after. Here I just got to take these gloves off, and if I didn't use the gloves, all I would have to do is just wash my hands. So I think the consistency of this is really good. Again, I'm not going super shredded. I still want like some bigger chunks like this. It's going to add some nice texture differences like when you're eating this chicken. Let's not forget about that sauce. So I'm going to start off with the lemons. I'm going to take the lemons and squeeze them, make sure that I'm not getting any of the seeds in there, because I really want to get all of that nice cooked lemon juice out of there. Now I'm gonna take that juice that collected and I'm just gonna pour it right over the top of that chicken. So you can see that we've already cleaned up the bottom of the pan. So when we did that browning step, we've reclaimed all of that flavor, and this pan is pretty clean. So now let's take our spoon and give this a nice mix and get that chicken all well coated. And just like a brush, all the little fibers in here will absorb all the sauce, so it won't sink all the way to the bottom. And if you notice, you find a little piece that probably needs a little bit more work, just give that a quick shred. Nobody's perfect. So now right back in the pan, we'll put the chicken. And this is a really nice way to serve it for dinner, and then just use the rest for meal prep and the rest of the week. And now finish it with a little chopped parsley. And now how amazing and fresh does this chicken look? I could eat this all week and never get bored with it. This chicken smells and looks fantastic. I can't wait to try it. I don't know how much chicken I'm putting in this bowl, but it looks so fantastic. So if we take a look at this chicken, see how we got like nice brown color. We also got that nice inside chicken color. I got a variety of textures here too. This is gonna eat really nicely. When it's shredded too much, it kind of eats like fluffy and it like tastes good, but the texture isn't there. And you know, texture is a big time component of food. And sometimes it's the difference between something tasting okay to something tasting great. Let's not forget one of these little garlic cloves. So I'm gonna take that, we're gonna stick that right on the end to really round out this bite. But look how delicious this looks. My mouth is watering. This is gonna be an epic bite. I don't know who said meal prep a chicken is boring, because this is delicious, flavorful. It was really easy. I'd eat this now, I'd eat this tomorrow, on top of a wrap, on top of a salad, or out of a bowl with a fork, because this is so good. There's two things that people usually find wrong with chicken breast. It's either dry, and that's because you overcooked it, so you weren't using a thermometer, you took it way too far. And chicken breast seems to have like a little bit of some wiggle room. It doesn't get crazy dry until you're like 185, 195, like 200, and you're totally hammering it. All the juices are out. It's gonna be really dry and rough, but as long as you get it like close to like 165, 175, it's gonna be nice and juicy. The second thing people say is that it's not flavorful. This chicken is super flavorful. Between the spices that we added, the browning, the garlic, the lemon, even that little pop of the vinegar that we put in, because acid helps bring out flavor. This is fantastic. If this is your first time here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, drop me a comment, let me know what other video recipes you'd like to see. And if you're gonna throw this on top of rice, you're probably gonna wanna know, should I wash it? So check out my washed versus unwashed rice. You'll be really shocked at the results. I'll see you there. Thanks.